Okay, here's a discussion video about Game UK, and is this the end of Game UK? Now, for those of you who are not in the UK, think of Game UK as basically GameStop. So it's kind of like that. And over the past couple of years, a lot of the game stores have been closing down, and then I know that they were bought out by Sports Direct, and I think the company Fraser, people own the House of Fraser. So now for the most part, you'll see little game kiosks inside your local Sports Direct in the UK. Now, I was up in Stratford, Westfield, and that, as far as I knew, was pretty much one of the last game stores, which was pretty much outside of the Westfield shopping centre, which is obviously a free store, but it's pretty much outside of it. And I think the last time I went there was maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. And I was in there, and then noticed that it was empty, and it said closing down. So obviously I probably missed some bargains in there, so that's completely closed. They did have a Sports Direct inside of the shop at the Westfield shopping centre, but they didn't have a game in there. And when I've been looking online, as I said, the last couple of years, a lot of the game stores have been closing. There was one in the Exchange in Ilford. Now, I knew that went ages ago, and then the last time I saw one was inside again, Sports Direct kiosk. And you know, like with the discussion I just said about, is this the end of game? My personal opinion, I think it pretty much is, which is a shame really that a lot of these dedicated video game stores have pretty much all been going. For me, I still like having physical games. Obviously, sometimes if there's a sale on some digital games and they're actually cheaper than the physical games, then I don't kind of mind it too much, depending on what the game is, by the way. But you can pick up some really good bargains like when they appear, regardless of which system and platform. But for me, I prefer the physical platform, because I said before, the problem is that with buying it digital, sometimes if the licensee goes, then basically you don't have access to that game anymore or whatnot. So, you know, at least you can still buy the physical console even if it's discontinued. So the reason why for me, in my opinion, where I think they've gone, why I think they've pretty much done, in my opinion. Again, it's a shame about the people losing their jobs, because there was a lot of friends I made in my local game where I lived, which went months ago, which went years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago. I made a lot of friends, and then you know, you made regular conversations with people in there and friends in there, and that was kind of nice. You had that personal touch. But the reason why I'm saying it's gone is because although they've got the game kiosks inside this Sports Direct, it's very small. They only do pretty much for new games. The big new games are out. What I liked about the back game, even though their games secondhand and new were expensive, is that sometimes you could pick up good deals on certain consoles, secondhand or no. And sometimes if you were in the right place at the right time, you could pick up a game for a really good price, an absolute bargain, regardless of the system. Sometimes even new, they would have chopped down, so you could get even a new game. Not a new game as in a super release, but a new game as in, I would say, in the last 2 or 3 years. Sometimes they would have it in a pretty good, decent sale. And as for the ones in these Sports Direct kiosks, it's only new games. They don't sell second-hand games in there. It's only really the big new games that they've got. So, for example, things like Assassin's Creed Mirage, Street Fighter 6, the new Mortal Kombat 1, that obviously is going to definitely be there. But anything, say, and maybe big as like Last of Us Part 2 and The Last of Us 1 Remastered, probably you'll find that there. So that won't be a problem. But anything, Callisto Protocol, you probably will find that, or possibly, because you know that didn't sell very well. But games even further than that, you're not kind of going to find them in there. And I know that Game have got an online store, but the online stores to me is very poor. Not in the sense of the fact that they don't do good bargains in it, because they actually do some good bargains in it. But the problem is, just for a normal delivery, it's $4.99. So you could find a game for like $3.99 and think, oh, I just want that. And then they've already charged you $4.99. So it's double. So for example, I wanted to get, for example, that new, well, kind of new, Samurai Showdown, which came out on the PS4 and Xbox One. And then obviously two versions. There's the vanilla version, and then there's I think there's a special edition version which has got the season 1 pass in it with the season 1 DLC character packs. Although if you go onto the PS4, you can actually get the season 1 DLC character packs for free. But anyway, they did all that, and anyway, when I looked in there, I thought, right, great, $4.99, absolute good price. And then when I actually went to go and check out on the online site, it was $4.99 just to deliver it. So I'm paying the same price for the game to deliver it. Now, when I got the Xbox Series X from there, you had to pay a little bit extra money to get it, but that wasn't so bad in the sense that at least by doing that, you were guaranteed that you're going to get it super quick or day of release, which I pretty much did. Got it pretty much day release. And no, I didn't actually get the Xbox Series X to delete on the day release because it kept going in and out of stock. But when it came into stock, I pretty much got it sent out straight away. The person, although I wasn't in, somebody came for it, came to deliver it, and somebody had to sign for it, so somebody in my household signed for it, so that's pretty great. So at least you're guaranteed that it's not going to get lost or anything like that, so that's kind of great. But just $4.99 for standard delivery. And then if you go to places like shop2.net or the games collection, which I use pretty much all the time, it's free delivery. So even when I've picked up some games for like $2.99 on PS4 or Xbox One, and it's been $2.99, $3.99, it's free delivery, and their delivery service is pretty quick, even though it's free. Although they do standard free delivery, you can actually get the game super quickly, but obviously you have to pay more. So I don't know. For me, I think game is pretty much gone. And generally speaking, to get physical games in the high street these days, it's pretty much impossible, because back in the day, places like Asda used to do them, and now the big Asdas, they don't. Some of them don't do it anymore, depending on where you live. Because I keep seeing on hot UK deals where they're saying PS4 games, Xbox One games for like £3, £2, and they're pretty much big games. But then depending on where you are and depending on what ads you have around you, they don't do the same. They don't do the same deals. But aside from, I think that it's the only places that still do it are CEX, which obviously they're second hand, and they seem to charge you the same price second hand as they were for a new game. And places like Currys, which, you know, it could be hit and miss. And again, even with Currys, it's all dependent on whether or not they've got the game or not, because obviously they've just got the display. But again, Currys online, and the Currys co.uk, they do deals in there as well, and you can pretty much get free delivery on the games without having to go there. But there's hardly any places to go, unless, you know, there are one or two independent game shops, but they're very far and few between. And obviously now where they're trying to push with the gaming market into the all digital gaming experience, which is where it's going to go eventually. And it's kind of a real shame that, you know, you can't go to a place and actually pick up a video game. Now you're going to have to like order it, especially, you know, if some people don't necessarily have a credit card. But yeah, unfortunately, I think the fact, even if game basically, obviously with their stores pretty much gone and only small kiosks inside Sports Direct, if they basically change their policy with their delivery on their website, then I think there's a chance that they still could survive. But if they're still going to carry on using charging you $4.99 just for standard delivery on anything, then I think I'd be very surprised if they survive for the next 18 to 3 years, of my honest opinion. But yeah, that's a real shame that, like, I pretty much think that that's the last of the game stores. I know that there's places like H&B, but there's not a lot of H&Bs around. Although they are meant to be reopening a H&B in Oxford Street before Christmas. I don't know where the exact location is going to be, but if that does happen, then, and I'm right about the area, and I might do a video on that. But yeah, unfortunately with game, for me, it's not looking too good. And again, some of it is just their business practice, and obviously because everything is moving towards the all inclusive all digital console. So yeah, that's a real shame about the Game UK stores, and pretty much all of them all now gone now.